My name is Omari Banks, and I was born in the Valley Anguilla at the Cottage Hospital in 1982 to a mother by the name of Donna Banks and a father by the name of Banky Banks. My earliest memories would be watching my dad perform in studio, working on songs, recording and practicing in the band house.
You know, as a dad, one of the first toys I bought for him was a ukulele. He was enthused with music, I'm sure. And he was singing stuff. And they did a concert in Italy. And all of a sudden I had him with the promoters sitting in the front seats, checking out the show. And he just ran on stage. I didn't call him, he just ran on stage and grabbed the mic and started to sing. I said, wow, this guy's got guts, he wants to sing.
He brought both of us up on the stage, and you know, we're there on the side of the stage, and I was 11, almost 12, and Omari, this was his 5th birthday, and he was just confident, singing out his lines. I might have been looking down at my shoes, and he just had a poise about him, and I didn't know really where it came from.
My mother's has always been somebody who's been kind of outspoken and strong-willed. But I mean, I think that kind of played into my personality in where I always was that kind of individual as well.
He was very, very committed, very, very dedicated, and invested his time, his effort, his energy in the cricket.
I went through periods where I would even sacrifice, in a lot of ways, even my education in high school, where school would be playing, but if there's a cricket match, I would be sometimes on the park. I didn't really pay as much attention to my education, in the sense that I wouldn't study as hard at my schoolwork. I would be reading a book, but sometimes even reading a book about self-development and how I could improve in cricket. But I was always a capable student. I was always somebody who was in the top bands of what they would sort of call it in school, but really was always had in my mind the idea that I wanted to kind of chart my own course and go in the direction that I wanted to. And at that time, the direction was cricket.
Music, I believe, was his first love, because one of the first toys that he would have got as a child would have been a guitar. And then he went on to the cricket, and of course the cricket was a very serious passion. It wasn't just a passion, it was almost an obsession.
I believe that in his whole life, that leadership quality always comes out. And I can remember when he was playing for West Indies and that famous match in Antigua. I can distinctly remember I had that radio in the classroom. The entire class was around the radio, and all the students from the other classes were just packed up in the corridor. And every time he hit it once, everybody asked, what happened, what happened? And the entire school was glued into that one little transistor radio. That's the kind of effect that Omari had on people. They wanted to find out every single thing that he was doing, and everything. He really made it for Anguilla.
Although it can be tough at times, there are a lot of things where, because you're here in Anguilla, you may not have direct access to. I know definitely in sports, I mean, it was very hard at times growing up and trying to work out on the park when the facilities are not necessarily up to snuff. But what I try to do is make the most of it. Sometimes I would go to the park. There was nobody there to bowl me or nobody for me to bowl to. At other times, I had some of my best friends who are also aspiring cricketers, the likes of Shaka, Zach, Marlon Martin, Richard Stevens, and even a lot of the younger players who came around, the likes of Chester Hughes, Jamal, Lindell Richardson, Kelbert Waters, just a few of the guys who came after me. It was really refreshing for me to be able to train with them when they were coming up, because when I was coming up, a lot of times, although we had other people who would come to the park and train with us, sometimes it was very hard even to just find somebody who would come every single day, because I was kind of obsessed with really trying to achieve a matter of success within cricket.
Passion is critical in anything that you do. If you're not passionate about it, then it becomes a job or boring.
As a young child, I had the talent to play, to do music. And my music teacher, Daphne Jacobs, was one who always encouraged me in that.
Well, I met Omari on the island of Anguilla. I'm not from Anguilla, but I met him here at the Rootwood Auditorium on stage, age 6, I think it was, singing his dad's song. And I was like, that guy has a beautiful voice. And I'm waiting for him to enter high school. He has to be a member of my choir. He became a member of the school choir. He became a member of the boys' choir. And somewhere along the line, he told me, teach, I think it was in third form, I can't remember, second, third, I must give up the choir for cricket. And my heart broke. I felt that. Tears came to my eye, not in front of him, but it was like, no, Mary, you can't do this.
For me, I was so focused on my cricket, that's all I wanted to do. I know my Uncle Val in particular, he was one person who always supported me.
He's very passionate of what he does, and I'm so proud of him. He is a figure that many people all over the world look up to, and I think it makes us all proud.
My coach, Cardigan Connor, is another one who really served as a kind of catalyst to encourage me into that I could play for the West Indies, or I could play professional cricket, because he had already played professionally in England for Hampshire.
I think any coach wants a personality like Omari, because when it comes to the dedication to the sport, the drive, the desire, the commitment, you often hear of coaches talking about players who are the first in and the last to leave. That definitely was Omari.
Omari was always that guy that wanted a few extra throwdowns, was always that guy willing to run that extra lap, was always that guy who was willing to impart the little knowledge that he would have brought back from many of his other tours and affiliations. Otherwise, you know, it was something that drove me quite a bit, being a part of his development to actually go on to play international cricket. Very much a call, few are chosen. He was one that actually went the full way, the first Anguillian to actually do so.
One of the low points is that they were not allowing people to graduate from high school based upon attendance. And I was one of the first people to not graduate. That for me was very disappointing at the time for me. But in a lot of ways, that kind of inspired me. That kind of inspired me to really work even harder at my cricket to make something of myself.
I must admit that in completing school, because the school had a policy which I didn't agree with, and he was late, no fault of his, school child. When he made it in cricket, however, everybody was like, oh yes, and he's here now, oh he did a great job. And I was able to fight and get back to the school and say, hey, you see that graduation certificate they didn't give him? He needs it, because he's going to be traveling the world.
Cricket did a lot for him as an individual. It did a lot for us as a family, because he really helped to support the family and me during tough times, and cricket enabled that, and for that I am thankful.
I'd like to say congratulations to my friend and brother Omari Banks. I've known Omari for over 2 decades, and if it's one thing I could remember from a very early age, from under 15 cricket, his work ethic, and him always carrying a guitar on tour.
So I finished high school maybe when I was about 16, just going on 17. Within a year and a half to 2 years, I was playing professional cricket at 18. Moving on was difficult, but I had a lot inside me to say with my music, and I had a mind that was open to learning. So that's where I got a lot of the inspiration which I got when I started to look within myself and try to understand more about who I was, even as a person, who we were as a people, and just have a greater understanding of life. During that time is when I wrote songs like Move On, Oh Africa, and those kind of songs, which was really me kind of therapy for myself. Yeah, it was not easy, but I've been able to be blessed to be able to do some really cool things. To be able to travel and tour Europe with Morgan Heritage back in 2014, 2015. I've done East Coast tours in America. My music plays on major platforms all over the world. And just able to have the freedom to be able to speak my truth and people to appreciate that is something that it's a real blessing. Playing the guitar is something which I've always loved to do as a child. I wanted to be not only just a singer-songwriter, but a lead guitar player, kind of a rock and roll kind of star. And I think that's kind of the attitude which I kind of approach my songwriting or even my live show based upon. So I like to play guitar solos. There's a rock element, there's a blues element, and there's a singer-songwriter element, and of course, there's a reggae element which is attached to my music. Yeah, so for me, I think what life is really about is just finding those things that make you fulfilled and happy. And for me, I've done my time in sport. I learned my lessons from that. I'm right now playing music, and at the end of the day, for me, it's about happiness and expression. I'm able to write songs which I feel can positively impact the world and speak about things which I believe are important to speak about and affect the world, change in a way which I feel is needed. But also to spend that time with my kids, my family, and the people that are important to me in my life. My two daughters, Samaya and Ashay, they mean so much to me, and they bring such a sense of joy and fulfillment to my life. Everything that I've done, be it in sports, music, and moving forward, is to leave a legacy for them, one that they can hold on to. And hopefully play some guitar and really talk to people in that way, because I think I can express myself well when I speak, but the intention is to try to express myself the best way I can on my guitar as well. Yeah.
I